Heartbreak is a pain that every single man will have to go through. And perhaps it's the worst type of pain because you can't just say go away. You can't take a painkiller and it'll go away. There is really no immediate remedy for heartbreak. The only things that heal heartbreak are time and correct action, with time being the most important one. I'm sure that 90% of the people watching this have experienced heartbreak. And I think I can say for all of us that with heartbreak, you can't run away from it. So therefore you have to run to it. So in this video I want to help you deal with heartbreak. Because if you're watching this, you're probably going through a terrible time. And the first thing that I have to say is that your friends are there for you. And if your friends aren't there for you, I'm there for you. I know exactly how you're feeling. I know that it's tough. I know that it probably feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But just wait. If you do the correct things, if you have the correct attitude, it's probably going to be the best time of your life. So after thinking about heartbreak, I've realized that there are 3 stages of heartbreak. And I'm not talking about, those, I don't know whether there was 6 stages of grief. No, this is heartbreak. There are 3 stages of heartbreak. So stage 1 is emotional shock. Stage 2 is emotional wreck. And I like to call stage 3 light at the end of the tunnel. After stage 3, you're pretty much healed. So stage 1 is emotional shock. So essentially what happens in stage 1 is like, this stage starts immediately after the breakup, like literally the second after you've broken up. And in this stage, you don't quite believe it. It hasn't registered that, this has actually happened. So obviously you'll be feeling bad. And you'll probably go to sleep and you'll be like, whatever, it is what it is. But the moment you wake up, that's when you realize that, damn, yeah, this is real. This wasn't a dream. So I don't have any advice for stage 1 emotional shock. And I can't tell you how to get out of emotional shock. I think it just happens naturally, probably when you wake up the next morning. And stage 2, which I like to call the emotional wreck, it's like you're so distraught that you can't do anything. Like everything becomes a struggle. Getting out of bed is hard. Going to the gym is hard. Reading is hard. Talking to people is hard. Everything is hard. And in this stage, you're always thinking about the past. You're always reminiscing on like, what I could have done better. And in this stage, it's like you have hope that you're going to get back together. The only hope that you have in this stage is that you're going to get back together. And I think the best way to describe this stage is like, it's like you're in a tunnel. And you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you can't see that light. So essentially you're in an abyss of darkness. And in this stage, your friends are probably your best asset. Because in this stage, you're going to be crying, and you're going to be going to your friends, and you're going to be asking, like you actually ask your friends, like, what could I have done better? Like, there's no way they're going to know what you could have done better. You'll be constantly talking about what's just happened with your friends. It'll probably be the only thing you talk about for about 1 to 2 weeks. And in this stage, the most destructive thing that you do is you begin to ask questions that you will never get the answer to. And even if you do get an answer, any answer that you do get from these questions will never satisfy you. It will never fulfill what you want it to be fulfilled. This stage of emotional wreck, it's like you're getting used to living without that person. And it'll be very hard. You'll probably reach out to them. You'll probably message them to see how they're doing, to see if they're... To be honest, you'll message them asking to see if they're okay. But you subconsciously, right? You'll be hoping that they're struggling as much as you. You will be hoping that they haven't been okay. And I think during this time, this is when you're most vulnerable, because you just be sitting doing something random. And you'll randomly enter like a deep thought about that person. And stage 2, emotional wreck, is probably the most uncomfortable period. They're the most uncomfortable periods of your life. Because it's like you're in so much pain, but you can't get rid of that pain. There's no remedy, there's no painkiller that you can take. So my advice for stage 2, the first thing that you have to do is delete a number and delete all photos. You may say that this is a bit drastic and we ended on good terms and I still want to keep in touch with it. No, it's honestly better for you to delete a number, delete all the pictures you have, unfollow on Instagram. Make sure that you have no memory of her in your phone. Like nothing will remind of her. TJ! Nothing in your phone will remind you of her. And the reason why this step is so important, because when you're going through times of heartbreak, it's important to remember the saying, remember, don't dwell. So when you have their number, when you still have photos in your phone, you're randomly going to stumble upon a photo and you're going to dwell on it and you're going to be looking at it, thinking about all the good times you've had, thinking about the past. And look, I promise you, I'm not going to lie, it is painful to delete the number, to delete the photos, to delete all memory of that person on your phone. But it's the way to go, because you honestly have to move on. So you have to delete a number, delete everything. And in this stage, you're going to be very lazy. I wouldn't even say you're being lazy. It's just going to be hard to do anything. So what you need to do is find 3 non-negotiables. 3 things that you are going to do every day without fail. So for me, it was gym, YouTube stuff, and what was it? And praying. Praying, reading, meditation. Like those 3, like the last 3 between praying, reading, meditation, it changed. For anyone watching this, I recommend that gym has to be in there. I don't know what it is about gym, but the moment I step into the gym, I feel like Superman. I feel invincible. I feel like I'm going to conquer the world. Literally nothing else matters the moment I step in the gym. I enter like this flow state and I'll be in the gym. Like the only thing that will matter in the gym besides like my workouts is they'll be like, there'll be that attractive girl in the corner and you're like, yeah. It's important to find 3 things that you're going to do every day without fail, because those are going to be times of relief. You're actually going to look forward to those times. Because like when you're doing those 3 non-negotiables, let's say it's gym, whatever, work, maybe studying, and I don't know, reading or meditating. When you're doing those 3 things, you're not going to be thinking about your ex. You're not going to be thinking about what's just happened. You're not going to be feeling sorry for yourself. You're going to be focusing on the task at hand. And you're going to be bettering yourself in the process. And I was watching this Andrew Tate podcast, and he said that when you're heartbroken, you have an infinite source of energy. And that is the truth. You have an infinite source of energy. And that energy is most of the time manifested into sadness, hopelessness. And you'd be saying, how can sadness and hopelessness be forms of energy? But trust me, if you just channeled all that energy that you have, promise you'll feel better at the end of every single day. So the key is to channel it. Whenever you start to feel sad, obviously you have to feel it, but remember, don't dwell. So feel it for a bit, and then you just have to push on. You have to channel all that negative energy, all that anger, all that frustration into your work, into something that is going to better your life. So if you want to learn how to channel the energy in your body into something productive, literally when you begin to feel sad, when you feel anger, when you feel frustration, what I want you to do is take a deep breath, as deep as you can. Breathe into your stomach, and this is going to sound weird, but try breathe into your balls. Do that 3 times. And then it's going to feel like you have a second wind. It's going to be like you have a new burst of energy. Like the other day I was in the gym. I had done 4 sets already. And then I started feeling sad. I started feeling angry. I just took 3 deep breaths. And suddenly I had the energy for 2 more sets. And in this stage, many people feel as if they've lost the one. Like, you know how nowadays is that notion of everyone has the one that's for them, their soulmate. What you need to realize in this stage is there's no the one. There's no one person made for you. There are 3.5 billion women on this earth. And if you're a woman, there's 3.5 billion men. To think that there's a one for you out of 3.5 billion people is quite foolish, I think. Because I promise you, out of those 3.5 billion, there are at least 50 million who are exactly your type. And you're telling me that you won't find another one. You're telling me that out of those 50 million that are exactly your type, only one was meant for you. In this world, there's an abundance of everything, especially women. So remember that even though you're feeling like, I've lost the one, I'll never find a girl like her, you will. And the odds are, if you improve yourself, you'll find someone who you think is better. And I'm not saying that person will be better than the other one, but I'm saying they'll be better for you because you've improved. And the last thing I'm going to say regarding this stage is that brotherhood is the most important thing here. In this stage, you're not going to feel like being social. You're going to feel like closing yourself in your room and just feeling sorry for yourself. And that's the worst thing you can do. What you need to do is honestly message your friends. Because the truth is, if you're coming out of a relationship, you weren't spending as much time with your friends as you should have been. So message them and you tell them like the truth. And you're like, I'm feeling down, let's go out, let's do this. Luckily for me, the week that it happened, I had 2 social events, like literally right after it happened. I had a braai on a Friday and I had a lunch on a Saturday. So like I was immediately going out with the boys and spending time with the boys. And similarly to the gym, when you're with the boys, you feel invincible. You feel like you can do anything. Literally nothing else matters when you're with the boys. You'll be laughing about stupid things. And it's like you enter like a flow state where you're only focusing on the present moment. And if my friends are watching this, I just want to say thank you. All my brothers, in fact. So Tanaka, Fari, Celestina, and I'm including Trigger, Trigger is Tanatswa, and Tine. Yeah, these guys, they were there for me. They are my brothers. They were there for me during this time. I think I went to the gym every single day afterwards. I went to the gym with Tanaka, and I went to the gym with Tanatswa and Tine a few times. And those are the things that you need to do. You need to find people to go to the gym with, people to do an activity with every single day. I know I said the brotherhood thing was the last thing, but the last thing that you need to realize with this stage of emotional wreck is that journaling is going to be one of the best things you can do. Naturally, you're going to want to run away from your emotions. You're going to want to numb yourself. Numbing yourself and distracting yourself is the worst thing that you can do. So whenever you're feeling sad, you should set aside a time for every day where you can feel sad and write about exactly how you feel. Because as soon as you write how you feel, it's like the energy that's within you, the sadness that's within you, it gets put onto the paper. And fair enough, you're still going to feel that sadness, you're still going to feel the sorrow, but it will be less intense as it was before. And the last stage, which is stage 3, is what I call light at the end of the tunnel. So in stage 2, I said that it feels like you're in a tunnel and you know that there's light, but you can't see the light. In stage 3, you truly start to see the light and you embrace the light. You realize that, you know what, the first thing you realize that, you know what, there are like many attractive women in this earth. Many women that would be with you as long as you improve yourself. And it's like you start to enjoy being single. You start to enjoy the freedom that you have, the freedom to make your own choices. Like I remember I was sending a voice note to Tanaka, this was last week. And I was excited that, you know what, I can track my sleep every night without fail. I can do so many things undisturbed. And that type of freedom, it excited me. There's so much that I can do. There's so much freedom that I have. Freedom for my future. And I was excited because I could redefine my goals. Because the truth is, if you make goals while you're in a relationship, you're subconsciously going to include that other person in your goals. So it's like you have excitement in this stage. It's exciting to create new goals that are just for you. The light at the end of the tunnel phase is just excitement, if that makes sense. Like you're excited for the future. You realize that, you know what, if I can work now, the future is going to be 10 times better than it is now. And in fact, most of the time you actually feel okay. You have that odd moments, the odd 10 minutes where you're down bad. And my advice for stage 3, light at the end of the tunnel, is be social. Go out to more social events. And now, this one's going to sound weird, but it's like, talk to more women. Because the odds are, if you've been in a relationship, the only person you're talking to was your ex. So it means that that skill of talking to the opposite gender, like you've leveled down in that skill. So you have to like regenerate the skill. Or at least see TJ! Or at least see if you still got it in you. Just strike up more conversations. Just talk to random strangers in the gym, in a restaurant, when you're waiting in a queue, because it honestly doesn't hurt anyone, and it will probably make their day that you care enough to talk to them, and it will also improve your social skills. But the danger of talking to more women, right, is you're going to be in a vulnerable state, so you have to promise yourself not to fall for another woman. You have to promise yourself that, you know, I'm going to give myself a set time, whether it's 6 months, whether it's a year. You're going to say, for the next 6 months, for the next year, I am not going to get romantically involved with anyone. That's the only danger. You have to make sure that you don't fall before you're fully healed. And what you need to do is redefine your goals. As I said earlier, when you're in a relationship, you can't help but include the other person in your goals. So spend time thinking about what you want your future to look like. Spend time thinking about what you want to do in the future. And then after this, you're good to go. Chase after those goals. Be relentless. And after stage 3, you're pretty much healed. I have no advice for after stage 3 because I'm currently in stage 3. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it can help and give you practical advice. If you're watching this, I feel your pain. But best believe there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it definitely will get better. Enjoy.